All right, if you have the first pick, all things being equal, and you need a quarterback, which one are you taking?
Well, assuming over the next 4 months I can either rationalize or take all the information in on Jameis Winston in terms of the off-the-field character concerns and be comfortable with the fact that maybe it's maturity that he can outgrow or that we can handle it and that he's not going to be an embarrassment and we believe strongly that he's going to be able to kind of handle all the pressures that come with it, then I think it's a no-brainer. But, that was a 7-10-second preface, so there's a lot of ifs right there. Ultimately, if you need a quarterback, and you're Tampa Bay and you do, how do you look at the best quarterback in this class, a guy who's NFL ready, as NFL ready as you'll see outside of an Andrew Luck, really, and has played in a pro system, can make the throws that you need to, and by that I mean anticipating throws, throwing to spots and throwing accurately to spots, and also has the size, the arm strength, the mobility, the strength and the mobility to extend plays and create with his feet. I mean, he's the complete package. But most importantly, he wins from inside the pocket. And if you had to win a game right now, tomorrow in the NFL, and you pull all 32 general managers, I'd be shocked if it wasn't 32-0 in favor of Winston over Marcus Mariota. Now, that doesn't mean that Marcus Mariota is not going to be a good player and develop down the line. But right now, Winston's more NFL ready, and he projects better to the NFL. You just have to be comfortable enough or have a plan to deal with, all the off-the-field issues that have come. And really, you kind of have to be convinced through the psychological tests and through the background checks that all these teams will do with their security and former FBI guys that he's going to outgrow it, or you can pay a couple $100,000 to have a security team follow him and detail him and make sure that he's not doing anything stupid off the field.
All right, if he stays on the straight and narrow and everything projects out positively, what can he be? Give me a quarterback in the NFL now that you think he can actually be like.
Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he'll make mistakes. He's going to, when guys are hanging on his legs, instead of maybe just eating the sack, he's going to take some chances, and it's going to wind up paying off in some big plays. And there also will be some times where you scratch your head and wonder why he made that decision. But more often than not, he's going to put your team in a position to win, and he's a playmaker. There are a lot of good distributors out there, but he's a playmaker who doesn't have elite, top-end speed or agility, but he's mobile enough and strong enough that he extends plays. But also you give him time in the pocket, like Roethlisberger and like Flacco, he'll pick a defense apart.
All right, now, Todd, is it that Mariota cannot do the things to be an NFL quarterback, or has never been asked to do them and you're not sure whether he can?
It really, for me, boils down, and it's a really good question. For me, it boils down to the sample size is so much smaller in terms of the NFL throws that you need to make. When you're looking at really Mariota versus Winston or any other prospect. And then within that sample size, the percentages in terms of when he's hitting those spots and making the accurate throws is not quite as high as you'd like to see it. And you can chalk that up to the inexperience, and he doesn't have to make a lot of those in the pocket timing throws where he's waiting on a receiver or he's getting the ball out before the receiver breaks, or he's throwing in between a corner and a safety in a soft spot of his own and has to hit that spot. And it's a game after game watching him. He's accurate, very accurate, but when the receiver's facing him or when it's a throw that he's throwing to the receiver at a spot, it's just you don't see a lot of the others. So to answer your question, the sample size is probably the biggest issue, and within the sample size, you just don't see enough success right now. But he's naturally accurate, and he has great football instincts, and obviously he's fast, and he can run around and all that. But as we know in the NFL, and we've seen even through this recent trend of mobile quarterbacks, if you can't win from in the pocket, there's a ceiling to what you can do. And right now, there's just enough doubt about him transitioning to be a successful pocket passer in the NFL that I would pass on him, and I would probably take on the headache and deal with it. And I probably wouldn't sleep well at night, but at least I know I have the right quarterback if I can keep him on the field. That he's in Jameis Winston, that he can be a quarterback that can lead us long into the playoffs and maybe to a Super Bowl one day.
All right, now before I let you go, we have to ask about the Jets. They have the 6th pick in the first round. Is there any chance, if Winston's the first pick, that Mariota would fall to 6th? And if not, would Amari Cooper fall to 6th?
I think there's a chance with both. I would say maybe, 50-50, 40-60 chance that Mariota falls to them there. Or here's the thing. Let's say that Winston goes 1. Tennessee at 2. If they pass, then the Jets are in position to just move up 1 or 2 spots. Then they might get in a little bit of a war with Washington. And are the Redskins willing at this point to take another, very high draft pick at the quarterback position? So that part would be interesting to me. First of all, with the Jets, when it gets to the number 2 pick, if Tennessee was willing to deal, would they move up and go get him?
Right.
And then secondly, if he gets past number 2, then does it become a bidding war between Washington and New York to go get that? I think at some point the Jets would say, hey, we might as well move up a couple spots and go get him if that's who they really like in this scenario.
And why would Cooper drop that much? I mean, he's the real deal, but do people think they could get wide receivers later?
That's part of it. There's a lot of depth at wide receiver this year, and I also think when you look at the need for quarterback and then the need for defensive line, especially talking about Jacksonville and Oakland, and then with Washington, we'll see how it happens. But I think you'll see probably 2 quarterbacks and at least 2 defensive linemen ahead of them. Then it would be a question, is Washington going to pick Amari Cooper, or are they, what are they going to do at that spot?